warm day like this, an unseasonably warm day like this, I believe that the strength will go to the runners that sort of hold back a little bit because the heat will take its toll. A couple favorites in this one: Chris Spooner, Dave Mock, Brian Saunders, Jed Christensen, Grant Allen. They're all back in the race. 5 of the top 6 runners returning from last year. We take a different view of the start of this, the AA boys. In the team event, you can look for the favorite to be Lewisburg. They were 4th last year. Eisenhower should be up in the thick of things. They did not qualify as a team last year, but they were 2nd in 2001. 1 point behind the winner of Scranton Prep that year. Quaker Valley, Wyomissing, all expected to be vying for a team championship. Quaker Valley 6th last year, and Wyomissing tied for 7th last year, but they returned 4 of their top 5 runners. Here you see them coming down the first straightaway, which, by the way, is about 700 yards to the first turn, and you see them making the first turn. And at this point, what a gap and a great picture of just how that mass of people come together and how important it is the runners gather a position there and trying to stay away from elbows and other legs and trying to stay on their feet. They're going to hit the first hill here as they come up the first upgrade. There's 2 major upgrades in the course, and this is the very first one that you see. It's about a half mile into the race. You have a couple of favorites coming up at this time, and there's some that we mentioned. It's no surprise to anybody. Chris Spooner, he'll be from Lewisburg. He's wearing the green jersey there in the middle of the pack. Jed Christensen from Greenville with the yellow jersey. And David Mock from Westmont Hilltop, wearing the red and white out to the far left. As again, they start coming up the first half mile on this course, and this is again the first hill they have to run. Take this hill and a little strategy going up the hill, how hard they're going to run it. The 3 leaders we just mentioned, there they are out in front early on in the race. A lot of different colors coming through there, a lot of different runners. As we mentioned, this one 263 to be exact when we start the race. Here coming from all 11 districts throughout the state of Pennsylvania, vying for this championship here today. We also mentioned about the heat a little bit with the hills and such. That will, it could play a role. It should be an interesting race for this. Some quality runners. It is anybody's race up front. There's a host of those 5 or 6 runners that we mentioned that could possibly win this race and will be in position, as you see already, in position to be in the race. So you see some of the runners still coming up the hill already starting to make. See the map there real quickly. They're going to go around the practice field and head for the Hershey Rose Gardens as they come by the 1 mile mark. And we noticed at the 1 mile mark, the leaders have not really changed much, except at this time, Brian Sauter of Harbor Creek in the orange, he has moved up to the number 3 position. That is Mock and Spooner leading the way. Christensen is just right behind them as they come through the mile in about a 5:04 run. That is Mock and Spooner at 5:04 and 1-2. In 3rd place, we said Sauter. He's running a 5:04 for the first mile, and then Christensen also at 5:04. Interesting in these races, and they started this last year, they used the chip technology. They have chips in their shoes, which they cross a mat at the mile mark, and that allows you to know what their mile time is. It also allows you to figure out what team is leading after just 1 mile in the race. And at this point in the race, the team leaders is Lewisburg, one of the favorites, followed by Notre Dame, and then Eisenhower and Wyomissing in the top 4 after just 1 mile of running. You see again, it has not separated very much. The leaders had a little lead at this point, but the group is still running as a whole, as most of them at this level of running have come in and can run in that 5 minute to 5:30, 5:40 category for the first mile, and that's where the bulk of the participants are running at this point in time. A little bit of a downhill as they come off that mile marker and head to the garden at Hershey, and then from there on they will soon at the 2 mile mark see their substantial 2nd incline, and that will be coming up in just a few minutes right now as you see the end of the crowd coming, the runners here in the boys AA race here from Hershey. Going to see where they're going now. They're going to head right to the Rose Garden in the 2 mile mark and around a ball field. That is the 2 mile. Here you see the 4 leaders taking the lead, and you're going to also get a good shot of that incline that they have to climb here at this point. Just they are about 100 to 150 yards away from, probably 200 yards away from the 2 mile mark. They go up this, will be their last substantial hill that they'll have to climb. Then it's a little bit of a downhill before they flatten out for the long finish here at Whitefield and Hershey. the leaders still maintaining here. Not much has changed in that lead group, but they have separated themselves from the pack, and there's no doubt that they are the ones who are going to be battling coming down the final stretch here in this, the AA boys race. Expected a great race out of the top runners. Just from watching them all season long, they have been close to each other, have comparable times over the 5,000 meters course. So Spooner, Mock, Sauter, and Christensen up there right where they should be. Spooner, the defending champ, coming back from last year, won this one as a junior, defending his championship as a senior. Mock was third last year. Christensen was fifth. And you have an idea that this is going to be a great race again. Sauter, by the way, was fourth. You see the group going up there, and as you see, they go behind some trees, and as they come out, here comes the leaders down the hill. They'll use that strategy of downhill running, the different strategies, running uphill and downhill. As you see Spooner opening up a lead here as he comes upon the 2-mile mark. As he tries to get away a little bit on the downhill from Mock and Sauter and Christensen. Now, you see Brian Sauter starting to fade a little bit as he, after that hill run and coming down. The three are still together as they come. Mock, Spooner, and Christensen past the 2-mile mark. And Christensen actually crossed the 2-mile mark in first place with a 10-minute time, followed by Spooner at 10:01 and also Mock at 10:01 at that point. So the lead group has established themselves. As the rest of the runners come down the hill, now you see it well spread out. The uphill and the downhill both, the different strategies used have spread this group out. Top 25 in this race will receive medals. The top 2 teams receive trophies in all 4 of the PIAA races held today at Hershey on White Field. The bulk of the group coming here, coming down the hill, and at this point, 1.1 miles to go for them as they are still looking pretty good despite the unusual November heat. No one really expected a heat wave to hit Pennsylvania come November. There's been races run in snow and races run in sub-freezing temperature, but this one might be one of the warmest ones to date. As the temperature up to 67 here as this race started at 11 o'clock a.m. And just right before this race, there was an overcast sky, but that has lifted. Sun is out shining, and that has added to the heat factor in the race. Mock, Spooner, Christensen going to be battling for the lead here. At the 2-mile mark, Lewisburg still has the team lead. They lead over Eisenhower, who's now moved up into second place. Notre Dame falls to third in this one. Wyomissing hanging on to fourth place as they come down the final stretch here as they prepare for the run here from Hershey. All 4 races thought to be, as always the case in the PIAA, interesting races to run. You know, it's one of those deals where no one really surprises you, but you never know how each person's going to run or each team's going to run. You have favorites, and it's very seldom that a surprise team pops up or surprise individual because they have been noted before. And a wave from one of the runners. Wanted to make sure we saw him on television, and he did. And so it's a matter of people going out and running their own races. And in days like this, when the heat's unexpectedly a little warmer than we imagine, that may play a role in how this team championship fares out and also how the individual championships fare out here from Hershey. We remind you once again, the top 25 will receive medals. Top 2 teams will get the team trophies. Here we come across the stretch right down the hill after the 2-mile. They're about at the 2.5-mile mark approximately. It is once again Spooner and Christensen up on top. Mock about 5, 6, 7 yards off the pace as he's fallen just a little bit behind. And now we're going to come down the final stretch here. They turn that corner up there. This is it. About 500 meters down to the finish line. 500 yards to the finish line. It's deceiving. You look at it and you think I'm almost done, but in reality, it is a long way home. This will be Spooner, the defending champion, coming down here. Sizable lead on his runners on right now Mock, who has taken over second place in this race, and again a sizable lead for him for Spooner. So Spooner, Mock, followed by Christensen, Jake Strayer there in fourth place as they do come down. We mentioned Spooner last year, the defending champion, didn't run here his freshman and sophomore years, but came in last year for the first time and picked up the championship. David Mock, a senior, third last year, sixth the year before, 24th as a freshman. He's making a move now, coming down the final stretch, and Spooner hears him coming. A quick look from behind, but Spooner seems to be having problems. Mock looking real good coming down the stretch. Another look from Spooner in second place. He's struggling, and Mock will pass him. Spooner goes down into the stones, and Mock will come across as the winner in a winning time of 15:57. Spooner gets back up, still struggling a little bit, and just needs to get onto that map, and does. Finishes in second place in 16:04. Jed Christensen, fifth last year, seventh as a freshman. He finishes in the third place position. He's from Greenville. Jake Strayer will come across in fourth place. He finished ninth last year. This is Frank Eanes, a junior from Westmont Hilltop, as a teammate of Mock. He'll finish fifth. Robert Squire, 41st last year, will finish in sixth position. Josiah Lauenberger will finish in seventh. Grant Allen, who has been here for 3 years, sixth last year, will finish eighth. And Brian Sauter, who was with the early leaders early on, he'll finish in the ninth position, finished fourth last year, followed by Danny Javits, Lane King, who's a sophomore, Jake Walters coming in 12th place as we start to come through the top 25. Zach Thomas, Sam Weiser in 14th place, followed by Corey Spidell in 15th. Kyle Jones in 16th. Mike Hardesty Jr., a junior in 17th place. Ryan Place will finish 18th. Zach Schaefer in 19th. Andrew Stutzman in 20th. Richard Walensky in 21st. Christopher Clark in 22nd. Matt Roaring in 23rd. Jason Hinkle in 24th. And rounding out the top 25, Mark Tressler is the 25th finisher from South Park, as the runners now continue to come across the finish line there. Gutsy effort from Chris Spooner, trying to win 2 in a row, but Dave Mock had too much left coming down the stretch. Spooner, who you saw fall, did get up and was able to finish in second place position. But Mock, the winner, the senior from Westmont Hilltop, the district champion out of District 6. He'll pick up the PIAA State Championship here in AA Boys. Turning our attention to the team championship. As you know, Lewisburg led through the first 2 miles, but Eisenhower, making a move in the final mile, picks up the team championship. One of the favorites coming here did not qualify last year, but did take second the year before, 1 point behind Scranton Prep. Scranton Prep had won the 3 previous championships in AA Boys, but not this year. Lewisburg, behind Chris Spooner, finishes in second place as they improve upon their 4th place finish from last year. Quaker Valley comes from way behind to come up to finish in 3rd place for the overall champion in the team standings. Wyomissing was the 4th place team finishing in this race, as they ran in 4th most of the way and finished here. Notre Dame, which was in 2nd place for most of the race, finishes 5th, followed by Greenberg's Central Catholic. Youngsville was in 7th. Elk Lake in 8th. Scranton Prep, your previous winner for the last 3 years, in 9th place. Union City rounds out the top 10 with a 10th place finish. By the way, Greensburg, look for them back next year. Everybody returns on that in that lineup. So David Mock, running with the leaders from the start, fell a little bit behind, as you saw, at about the 2.5-minute mark. Comes back in the final stretch run, coming in the final 50 yards, and passes last year's winner, Chris Spooner, to take the individual championship in the boys AA run here, the 3rd race of the afternoon, of the morning. And it was Chris Spooner and Jed Christensen, also leaders throughout the race, finishing 2nd and 3rd in a great race out of the AA boys in this one. And again, congratulations to those top 25 finisher medal winners here, and also to Eisenhower and Lewisburg picking up the trophies as the AA winners here, team championships in this one. For Eisenhower, by the way, it is the school's first cross-country state championship, and for Mock also, for Westmont Hilltop, their first individual championship as they gather the hardware here in the race. The finishers coming down. The race did lose a few runners due to the heat. See the medics running out now to take care of a down runner at this point. That will occur in most of the races today. Again, due to that heat, and something that the runners had to adjust to in all 4 races. Not so much the girls in the first 2, but especially in the boys in the final 2 races of the day. So again, Mock the winner, Spooner, Christensen, Strayer, Eanes, Squire, Lowenberger, Allen, Sauter, and Javit, all the top 10s. In that, the first junior is Christensen. He's the first underclassman to return. Eanes is also a junior, and the rest of the top 10 are seniors, so 2 coming back to try to move up the ladder in next year's races. We mentioned 263 runners, not all finished in this race, but most of them able to cross the line. As again, as you just get a view of that final stretch coming down there, it is one that you think, I'm almost done with this race, and then you turn the corner and realize that it is farther away than you could imagine. But most of the runners holding through here. It is the last race of the season, and so they're able to come and get across that mat. We talked about the mat there, which is the ones where the chips in their shoes trigger their finish and their times. You'll see it here. This runner crosses. There's 2 mats actually to catch. If they don't get the first one, for some reason, the second mat will catch it. And then there's a good look at the mats and the time clock above them, so that you get a great idea of what's going on. Boys AA race. We're going to go to the awards ceremony now. You'll get a chance to see the winners again there in PIAA Boys AA.
Next award goes to the Boys AA runner-up, the team from Lewisburg. Coach is Mike Sundberg.
Mark. Got that.
Coach Mark Sundberg will be presenting the awards to Chris Keys Spooner. Chris Moru.
Where is he? Is he in the hospital?
Kevin Schoenfelder. Luke McGuire. Eric Orbison. J.P. Harrison. Mike Barth. Travis Joseph. And John Stark. Next, we'd like to present the runner-up trophy to the team from Lewisburg. AA Boys runner-up. Next, we would like to introduce the team from Eisenhower, our AA Boys champions. Darlene Beach is the coach, assisted by Al McLaughlin. Medals are presented to Grant Allen. Greg Haynes. David Pearson. Josh Hogan. Dylan Rulander. Mike Elmer. Jacob Tutbear. Sean Jenkins. Jeremy Hogan. Cameron Ives. The championship trophy is presented to the AA boys, the team from Eisenhower. Congratulations to our 2003 champions. We'd like to have the medal winners for the AA boys please assemble down at the bottom of the steps.
Tom. You want me to take that?
I'm sorry. He's lacking.
Okay, 25th place is Tressler and Hinkle. What school? Eastern, South Park and Eastern. All right, thanks.
I see, doesn't that help to get them down there?
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. Ready for our AA boys in 25th place, Mark Tressler from South Park. In 24th place, Jason Hinkle from Eastern York. In 23rd place, Matt Rierick from Wyalusing. In 22nd place, Christopher Clark from Commodore Perry. In 21st place, Richard Golinsky from Union City. '20th, Andrew Stutzman from Kutztown. 19th place, Zach Schaefer from Wyomissing. In 18th place, Ryan Place from Elk Lake. 17th place is Mark Hardesty from Lakeview. 16th place, Kyle Jones from Youngsville. In 15th place, Corey Speidel from Marion Center. '14th place, Sam Weiser from Elwood City. In 13th place, Zach Thomas from Quaker Valley. In 12th place, Jake Walker from Elwood City. In 11th place, Lane King from Fairview. 10th place is Danny Javits from York Catholic. 9th place is Brian Sauter from Harbor Creek. 8th place is Grant Allen from Eisenhower. 7th place is Josiah Lutenberger from West Middlesex. In 6th place, Robert Squire from Elk Lake. In 5th place, Frank Enos from Westmont Hilltop. 4th place, Jake Strayer from Forest Hills. In third place, Jed Christensen from Greenville. In second place, from Lewisburg, it's Chris Spooner. And our champion from Westmont Hilltop, running the course in 15:57, is David Mock.
You can announce, Bruce, the press may pick up results from Dr. Lombardi. He's right on the other side of that building. You can't see him.
A note to the press, results can be picked up from Dr. Lombardi, who is on the left side of the stage, down below on the ground level.
David Mock is a senior at Westmont Hilltop. What was your strategy today?
Coming in the race, I knew that Spooner was going to be very tough to beat, and knew there's a lot of other guys up there. They were running pretty strong coming in this race. I didn't really want to go out too hard and spend too much energy, but the race did start out pretty fast. I wanted to try to work the hills and then eventually win at the end. I knew it was going to be a close race the whole way.
You had a very strong finish. Was that part of your strategy?
That was part of my strategy, but initially when I started my sprint, I was just trying to hold off Christensen, who was, as I take it from the crowd's response, he was gaining on me. And then once I started to sprint, my legs just started to feel good, and I started to gain on Spooner, and somehow managed to get him.
Now, you were third last year and made a jump to first this year. Did you have that in mind all year? That's what you were going for?
Every year, my freshman year I was 24th, sophomore year I was 6th, and then junior year I was 3rd. Every year I was just progressing through my places, and this year I was hoping for a first place victory.
What is it about cross country that you like?
I've been running since I was about 7, and running is it's my life. I love to do it. If I don't go for a run, you know, my day just doesn't feel complete.
What are you going to do next year?
College choices, I have no clue where I want to go to college. Yeah, I'm still looking, but I definitely want to go to college and run.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
PIAA is a nonprofit corporation organized on a membership basis. Members include public and private high schools in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. The purpose of PIAA is to develop and enforce rules which are adopted by the member schools. PIAA is divided into 11 geographic districts, each of which has a district committee elected by the member schools within the district. Each district committee elects a chairman to represent the district on the PIAA Board of Directors. PIAA's main objectives are to establish and enforce rules of eligibility for high school athletes, adopt playing rules for each sport, register officials, organize and operate 27 championships in 10 girls sports, and organize and operate 31 championships in 11 boys sports. PIAA does all of this without federal or state funds. Its principal source of revenue is the sale of tickets to playoffs and championships. PIAA believes that the student athlete is best served by a system which emphasizes the amateur, educational, and character-building aspects of high school sports, and which recognizes that students are in school primarily to obtain an education.
Hello, and welcome to the Pennsylvania Cable Network. We're delighted to join with you in celebrating high school athletics in the Commonwealth. Everything that we do here at PCN, from our daily coverage of the General Assembly to programs exploring manufacturing, from coverage of significant Pennsylvania events to our satellite distribution across the state, all of this is made possible by Pennsylvania cable television companies which carry our service on their channel lineup. Often at PCN, we'll list the names and service areas of local cable providers. These are the community-minded companies which pay a monthly fee to cover network programming and operating costs. PCN receives no state funding. We are supported instead through the generosity of cable systems which make PCN available to their subscribers. In watching high school sports on PCN, we hope you'll remember the commitment of Pennsylvania cable television companies. They're the ones that make this network and today's programming possible.
And now, PCN's exclusive coverage of PIAA Championship Cross Country on PCN, Pennsylvania's championship network.
Welcome to PCN's coverage of the PIAA State Cross Country Championships at Milton Hershey High School in Hershey, Pennsylvania. There'll be 4 races today, girls and boys AA and girls and boys AAA. More than 1,000 runners will be competing in today's events. Many have been here since early this morning, setting up tents for their teams and also warming up on this 5,000-meter course. The course is laid out the same as last year. The runners will start on the airstrip and hit their first hill at the half-mile mark. Then they will loop around the ball field and reach the 1-mile mark just as they pass Senior Hall on their left. Then they will have a big downhill into the 2-mile mark and then return back to the airstrip for their last straightaway. It's a beautiful day in Hershey. Temperatures in the high 60s, maybe a little too warm for the runners. We'll see in the next few minutes how they will fare on this mild day. This is the PIAA AA Girls Championship, the first race of the morning. It's 60 degrees at race time, relative humidity 83 degrees, and perhaps the best weather for running are the 4 races today in the very first race, which is the case. This is AA Girls for girls under schools with 314 or less girls in grades 9, 10, and 11 as of the 1st of October back in 2001. 262 girls are entered, representing 105 schools throughout the state and the 11 districts, and 22 teams will be going after the team championship here in this race. A lot of favorites in this one. Kate Vernon from Gwinnett Mercy, Lynn Morelli from St. Basil. You have Adrienne Belts from Hamburg, the District 3 winner last week, and a great race from her. Lindsay Petrie from Mercer, Nicole Smith, Gwinnett Mercy, Krista Plummer from Palisades, all expected to be battling for that #1 position. It is anybody's race. Gwinnett Mercy comes in as one of the favorites. They had a great 4x800 relay team last year, set a new state record in AA. They return 5 of their top 7 runners from last year. They look to be in good shape. Don't forget Dallas, Wellsboro, who returned everybody from their top 5 last year and finished 5th. Wyomissing, 4 in a row. They have won state championships 4 in a row, but the Huss twins are gone, but they still figure to be in the competition here in this race. So a wide open race for both the individual and the team championships here in the AA girls. You saw the start. They're coming to the first hill about a half mile away from that start as they start the upgrade from hill #1. Adrienne Belts in Hamburg, Kara Morris from Hickory in the blue, Hamburg in the red. You have Kinsey Crestes of Dallas, Lindsay Petrie of General McLean in the red. They are your early leaders here as they come up the hill. What a mass of runners still intact. Certainly the pack has not separated themselves so much at this point in time, though you do see Belts using a little bit of the uphill to pull away here early on in this race, starting to open up just a little bit of a lead as she gets about 5 to 10 yards on second place here in the opening half mile. As the crew comes up this hill, there's 2 major upgrades in this race, 2 hills that they'll have to contend with, one right here at this location and one right before the 2-mile mark. And after that, they'll run relatively flat downhill also. Obviously, what goes up will go down, so they'll have some downhill stretches to take advantage of. Different runners using different strategies in this race. Some have elected to go out hard in the beginning. Others have elected to hold back due to the heat and see what they can do in the final mile of this race, or start the race a little bit harder after the first mile. And so we see the field separating just a little bit, but the lead pack, and it is quite the pack at this stage of the game, is out in front, taking off early on in the race. Top 25 will receive medals, and the top 2 teams will receive trophies in all 4 races here today from the PIAA. You'll see the map, you see the start, the uphill, they go around the practice fields, head for the 1-mile mark, and here they come down the 1-mile mark, and it is as was there early on. Adrienne Belts leading the way, Lindsay Petrie, Megan Robbins from Western Wayne in the yellow, and Nicole Smith of Mercer in the blue. You'll see them coming up here in the opening mile of this one. Belts went out in a 5:47 to lead the way and running a pretty solid race as she takes the lead early on here in mile number 1. And Petrie's going to be back a little bit from that pace. In second place, Plummer has moved in there in the mile, or excuse me, up into the top 8. And so you see the leaders coming through the mile. 5:47 was the lead time in this one. We like to point out, due to the chips that they're now wearing in their shoes, this is the second year that they have done this. The chips, they cross them out at the 1 mile mark, and therefore it is, you can figure out which team is leading after just 1 mile. And at the 1 mile mark, Dallas has taken the lead over Gwinnett Mercy in the team race, followed number 3 by Wyomissing and number 4 Wellsboro. No surprises there. We thought those 4 teams would be up in the hunt of things, and they are after just 1 mile in the race. The group stays, after you get the first couple runners in that lead pack through, you see the vast majority of runners coming through here, and loads of them coming through. It's important in those early parts that you have to be careful. There's a lot of elbows and a lot of legs flying, and you have to be careful early on to be able to get out of that and into a comfortable race. That is what the runners are trying to do at this point, trying to make sure that they are where they want to be so they can start making their moves after the mile mark. Obviously, Belts has made her move early. She did this in the District 3 meet, ran on the same course a week before. She went out hard from the beginning and hung on. We're going to also, in just a second here, take another quick look at the map, and you're going to see where they're going to head after this. Here it is. They're going to come around the mile mark, head for Hershey Rose Gardens, and then to the 2 mile marker. And you see Belts going up the second major upgrade with a giant lead here as she heads for the 2 mile mark in this race. And as they come up here at the 2 mile mark, it's Belts and Petrie. And then the next group will finish just, you'll see them coming too as they start that long uphill. Not a real big hill, but when you put it in at this 2 mile mark, it does take its toll on the runners. And it will be hard to navigate a little bit. You have to sort of get yourself into that, climbing that hill mood, and up they go. But right after that, they'll take a little short turn to the right. They'll go behind some trees, and then they come downhill after a little straight stretch and a chance to use their downhill racing strategy there. And from there, really, it is downhill till the final turn, and they make the final turn and they go into the long stretch to the beginning. So they're going to make that turn. The group you see now, the top 25, have separated themselves from everybody else, and it's real easy to see now how they have divided themselves out here in this race. I'd like to remind you, you're watching the PIAA Cross Country Championships on PCN. We're glad to be able to bring you the high school championships. You can get more information on the high school championships by going to the website at pcn.tv.com. And also for the complete list of the final results, you might want to check out the PIAA's website, PIAA.com. You can get all the information about this race and the other 3 here too. Actually, the PIAA's.org, and if you're writing that down, you might want to make that correction right now so you can find it. Adrian Belts, all by herself, coming down the hill, opened up a bigger lead going up the hill than she had, coming down the hill in control, in the lead, looking to win her first state championship. Was not here last year in the race, did not qualify. She was 13th as a sophomore and 50th as a freshman. Interesting story, had some medical problems through last year and even the beginning of this year. And the week before the first race, she said that the doctor finally figured out what it was. And the medications were switched, and lo and behold, she's running like never before and looking to be coasting in for her very first state championship, as she has assumed control of this one, running through the 2 mile marker at 11:57, and no one really close to her at that point in time. No one making any type of move on her. She is the one making the move and pulling away from the group on the 2 mile. See, the downhill and the uphill has separated them from, instead of being in the group that you saw back in the mile, now they are in single file lines coming down from them. So both strategies, again, 2 mile mark has taken its toll on everybody. It's 2 miles into the race. They've been running hard. They've been running in the heat. They've just gone uphill, and some have used the advantage of the downhill. At the 2-mile mark, let's check the team standings. Dallas still remains in first place. They were winning the race after the first mile, and Gwinnett Mercy in second place. And third place is Wellsboro. They have taken over third from Wyomissing. Wyomissing has settled into fourth place. We'll remind you, there's still 1 mile to go and some long stretches to go, so the team race nor the individual race, though it does look like Belts is in complete control here at this time, is not over by any stretch of the imagination. So just they'll have to see how things go for them. They got a little cloud covering in this race. It was sort of nice. It took away some of the sun beating down upon them, so they did have the advantage here in race number 1 of 4 that the PIAA puts on for the state championship here, the AA girls. As we mentioned, 22 teams looking to try to pick up the hardware for either first or second place. 262 girls coming from 11 districts from around the state in this AA girls race. Adrian Belts, the leader at this point in time, and being chased down by Krista Plummer and Jessica Squire, Amber Hackenberger, Nicole Smith, all in the lead group now, way up in front of this group as we come down to the final segment of the runners here coming to the 2-mile mark for the PIAA. Boys, after this one, girls AAA run, and then the boys follow AA and girls AAA. As this race, all the races seem to be too close to call for the championship, except for maybe the AAA girls. They have a definite favor, and perhaps a definite favor for them in their individual championship. But in this AA, coming in, it was anybody's guess. Gwinnett Mercy thought to have a great advantage after returning 5 of 7, and also at the same time having that 4x8 relay team set a state record last year and those runners in this race. But then you had Dallas, who, you know, again coming in, only one of the senior returning a lot from last year, looked like a team that could contend for the championship, and Wyomissing just with a great tradition after winning 4 straight team championships here. Lost their top 3 runners, but nevertheless still a contender. This is Belts. You see Belts coming to about the 2.5 mile mark. This is a little bit of a downhill climb, and then we come down the final stretch. We are about 200 meters from the end here, and you see the lead that Adrian Belts has maintained and even really opened up a little bit. Krista Plummer will try to run her down in second place. Is Belts looking to improve? Last year wasn't here, 13th place as the sophomore, trying to pick up Hamburg's first individual state championship, and recovering well from medical problems that kept her out of this race last year. Adrian Belts coming down the stretch. No one's going to catch her here as she looks to finish in first place. Trying to break 19 minutes for 5,000 meters, but going to be just a slight bit behind that as she crosses the tape. And you see the clock there, 19:03, and she is the new AA Girls PIAA State Championship for cross country. Krista Plummer, the senior, finished 254th last year. Did not have a good race, and 21st the year before. She finishes second. Jessica Squire, a junior, will be the 3rd place finisher here, 10th last year in this race. Amber Hackenberg, a senior, 28th last year. She'll finish 4th. So we start to run down the top runners here. Nicole Smith, a sophomore, finishes 5th, 19th last year. Lisa Giagamatti, a sophomore, was finishing in the 6th position, 26th, out of the medal by 1, but she gets it this year. Lindsay Petrie, who ran up into the front group for a lot of the race, finishes at 7th place. And then Lynn Morelli, she'll finish 8th. She was the 2-mile champion in track last year. And her sister Christine Morelli, a freshman, and Lynn's a junior, will finish in 9th place right behind her. Trisha Learn will be the 10th place finisher, rounding out the top 10. Megan Robbins, who finished 8th last year, 8th the year before, and 3rd her freshman year, will finish in the 11th place position. Shannon Hoffman, a junior, will be in 12th. Caitlin Strahada, a senior, in 13th. Ashley Inowasowski from Wyomissing, 14th. Aaron Gruenson is 15th. Beth Tavafarevich, a freshman, is in 16th place. Allie Briggs in 17th. Kristen Groff in 18th. Alexa Griffins in 19th. Sonia Hinish in 20th. Amy Hennigan in 21st. Kara Morris, 22nd. Dalen Cooney in 23rd, Sarah Gill in 24th, and Kathleen Davis, a freshman, rounds out the medal winners, finishing in 25th place. So a great effort from Adrian Belts. Took off from the beginning, didn't let anybody run with her, just kept building the lead as she went on down through the race, and she wins the race here. Let's check out the team championships. Dallas did hold on as they led in the first mile and the 2 mile. They finished in first place. They finished with 49 points. Wellsboro finishes in second. They came up from 4th to 3rd to 2nd over the final mile to take the runner-up trophy. They will finish just 20 points behind and 69 points. Wyomissing, a 4-time defending champion, in 3rd at 106, and Gwinnett Mercy is the 4th place finisher with 177 points. They lost their top runner at the 2 mile mark in Katie Werner, and that would have certainly made a difference in the standing. However, it does appear they would not have won even with Werner in the race. General McLean in 5th, Bishop McDevitt in 6th, Elk County Catholic in 7th, Seneca finishes 8th, Tubbahawken in 9th place, and Quaker Valley is the 10th place finisher in team standings for the girls AA. Should remind you that what they do in this is what is called re-ranking. If you are not on a team, even though you're listed in your final standings for team championships, they take out the runners not on teams and re-rank the runners through that. That's why the scores are so low to come up with the team championship. So if you're running as an individual, you might have qualified in the team in your district, but not with your team. They are removed from team standings in order to incorporate the actual winner in this race. And again, it goes to Dallas, as Dallas will win this championship, the first one for Dallas, their first championship for the school. And for Adrian Belts and Hamburg, it'll be their first individual championship in cross country. Adrian Belts, the winner, in a winning time of 19:03. Her pace over 5,000 meters, 6 minutes and 9 seconds, followed by Kristen Plummer, who finished in 2nd, Jessica Squire in 3rd, Amber Hackenberg in 4th, Nicole Smith in 5th, Lisa Giacometti in 6th, Lindsay Petrie in 7th, Lynn Morelli in 8th, Christine Morelli in 9th, and Tricia Learn is the 10th place finisher for the girls in the AA race, first race of the day. And again, as we mentioned, you see also the people, not all 262 girls finishing this race due to the heat. Some had fallen and early on, and especially coming down the stretch. In each race, seems to be someone that comes so close to finishing but yet can't get across the finish line due to the heat. Most of it dehydration here in the races this morning here from Hershey in that way. So a great race again from the top. Congratulations to Adrian Belts, District 3 winner the week before, not being able to run last year and coming back here to win this race from start to finish, and also to Dallas as they win. Remind you, PCN is showing you the PIAA State Championships. If you have some input you'd like to make into our coverage of PIAA State Championships, you may call the viewer line at 717-730-6004 or email us at pcntv@pcntv.com. Glad to have your input into the PIAA Championships, which we'll be showing them all throughout the scholastic year. Here comes the finishers down the stretch. We mentioned once again about they need to get across that mat because of the chips that are in there, and with that records the time and the place of the finishers, and was able to determine quickly those winners. Speaking of the winners and the champions, we're going to go take a look at the awards ceremony for the PIAA AA girls. We'll do that right now.
AA girls runner-up from Wellsboro. Coach is Sherman Werner. Assistant coach is Jill Toombs. These are our runner-up AA girls team. The coach will be presenting the awards to the team members. Caitlin Strahada, Dalen Cooney, Heather Sayer, Emily Osgood, Renee Rogers, Mallory Masher, Tricia Rumsey, and Marla Rice. The runner-up trophy goes to the girls from Wellsboro. Congratulations to our 2003 Wellsboro runner-up, PIAA AA runner-up. Girls, we need your picture. Next, we have the champion AA team from Dallas, coached by Matt Samuel and assistant Marjorie Adams. Coaches will present the awards to their team members. Lisa Giacometti, Janine Standish, Whitney Adams, Jessica Jones, Kinsley Caristes, Hillary Adams, Robin Razowich, and Katie Gilligan. And the championship trophy goes to the girls from Dallas. Next awards, runner-up girls, AAA. Team. Made a switch. We're going to go to the AA girls individual medals.
Okay, we start at 25, right? Start at 25, right?
We're going to start in 25th place.
Why don't you ask them to come up?
Kathleen Davies from St. Basil in 25th place, AA girls. We have the coach come along to award the medal, please.
In the meantime, the rest of the kids or winners should come up.
May we ask the other winners in AA girls to please come up at the front of the stage, please.
Start to assemble.
Please assemble in front of the stage. In front of the stage, the girls and their coaches. In 25th place, Kathleen Davies of St. Basil. In 24th place, Sarah Gill from Hickory. 23rd place, Dalen Cooney from Wellsboro. 22nd place, Kara Morris from Hickory. 21st place, Amy Hennigan from Jamestown. 20th place, Sonia Honich from Bishop Guilfoyle. In 19th place, Alexa Griffiths from Tamaqua. In 18th place, Kristen Groff, Lancaster Mennonite. In 17th place, Allie Briggs from Washington. In 16th place, Beth Tafamirich from Mercer. In 15th place, Erin Gruneisen from Fairview. In 14th place, Ashley Iwanoski from Wyomissing. In 13th place, Caitlin Strahata from Wellsboro. Twelfth place, Shannon Huffman from Warrior Run. 11th place, Megan Robbins from Western Wayne. In 10th place, Tricia Learn from Mansfield. In 9th place, Christine Morelli from St. Basil. In 8th place, Lynn Morelli from St. Basil. In 7th place, Lindsay Petrie from General McLean. In 6th place, Lisa Giacometti from Dallas. In 5th place, Nicole Smith from Mercer. In 4th place, Amber Hackenberg from Middleburg. In 3rd place, Jessica Squire from Elk Lake. In 2nd place, Krista Plummer from Palisades. And our champion, 2003 AA girls, from Hamburg, Adrian Beltz, a time of 1903. Congratulations to our champion, runners-up, and first 25 place finishers. Well done, ladies.
Adrian Beltz is a senior from Hamburg. Adrian, what was your strategy today?
Well, we came up the day before, my dad and coach and I, and we ran the course. We knew one of my strong points was to run the hills hard. So mainly when I went out knowing I had to push the flats, but really run the hills hard and hope to pull away on the hills.
Now you're in District 3 and you ran this course last week. Did you learn anything the first time that you put to use this time?
Not a whole lot, because you do come up the day before. The toughest thing I think would be running the hills consecutively, like 2 weeks in a row. I realized you know, how much it really takes out of you from last week to this week. But so mainly just running the hills again, same strategy as before. So.
How long have you been running?
Well, I ran cross country the past 4 years. My sophomore year, I gave up all other sports to run year round. So I guess you could say like completely committed for 3 years.
Do you have any plans for college?
I'm looking at Franklin and Marshall. I want to stay to a small school because I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I don't want to be paid to run, so to speak. So I'm looking there.
Are you going to start training for track now?
I'm going to take a break, I think, for a little bit. We have the national meets coming up. After that, take the winter easier, and then step it up for track again.
Congratulations.
With over 115,000 interscholastic contests taking place each year, PIAA continues to emphasize the importance of sportsmanship. The PIAA defines sportsmanship as qualities characterized by genuine concern for others. In 1996, PIAA introduced the sportsmanship program, The Only Missing Piece Is You. Its mission is to educate and promote the practice of good sportsmanship. The ideals of sportsmanship apply equally to all disciplines. Individuals, regardless of their roles in interscholastic athletics, are expected to be aware of their influence on the behavior of others and act in a responsible manner at all times. Along with the sportsmanship program, PIAA also requires all of its registered officials to read the PIAA sportsmanship message to captains and coaches prior to games at all levels. PIAA encourages everyone involved in interscholastic athletics, from fans to contestants, to exemplify good sportsmanship. The only missing piece is you. Homework Help on PCN is a live 2-hour call-in program for students in grades 1 through 12.
This is the show to watch if you want to get the homework done.
State-certified teachers work through math and science questions with students.
The diameter of this sphere is basically going from this end through the center to the other end.
Homework Help on PCN airs throughout the school year on Sundays, live at 5 p.m.
PCN Tours, Pennsylvania Cable Network's series of video visits to manufacturing plants, is now available in book form. To order the book, send a check for $26 payable to the Pennsylvania Cable Network, 401 Fallowfield Road, Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, 17011. Visa and MasterCard may also be used for PCN Tours book purchases by calling the network toll-free at 1-866-PCN-8433. Prices include shipping and state sales tax. And now, PCN's exclusive coverage of PIAA Championship Cross Country on PCN, Pennsylvania's Championship Network.
So the PIAA State Cross Country Championships at Milton Hershey High School in Hershey, Pennsylvania. There'll be 4 races today, girls and boys AA and girls and boys AAA. More than 1,000 runners will be competing in today's events. Many have been here since early this morning, setting up tents for their teams and also warming up on this 5,000-meter course. The course is laid out the same as last year. The runners will start on the airstrip and hit their first hill at the half-mile mark. Then they will loop around the ball field and reach the 1-mile mark just as they pass Senior Hall on their left. Then they will have a big downhill into the 2-mile mark and then return back to the airstrip for their last straightaway. It's a beautiful day in Hershey. Temperatures in the high 60s, maybe a little too warm for the runners. We'll see in the next few minutes how they will fare on this mild day. This is the 4th and final race of the day, the boys AAA from Hershey, PIAA State Cross Country Championships. Obviously, being the latest race of the day, at 12 o'clock, it is the hottest race, 68 degrees. The humidity still up around 83 degrees. The overcast skies have burned off, so this will be one of the hotter races of the day. It will be a little tougher than perhaps the other 3 weather-wise. Speaking of hot race, there should be a great hot race for the individual championship as well as the team championship. As you see, Clarence Crawford getting the start. And here comes the runners right down the straightaway. And some, again, electing to get out early. Others decide to hold back a little bit because of the heat, but they're heading straight down the straightaway. 800 meters to the first turn and the first uphill. It is the boys AAA. 4 out of the top 5 from last year are returning. The for the top 5 individuals. And Ian Gottsfield, Ian Fitzgerald, also Brian Fuller and Craig Miller, all in this lineup. Team-wise, it is again anybody's race. Westchester Henderson, the winners last year, they returned 4 out of the top 7. You got Cedar Cliff, who won it 2 years ago. Carlisle, Coatesville, North Hills, Mount Lebanon, Council Rock North, Hatboro, Horsham, pick one. Anyone could be a winner in this one, but the favorite, I think you have to go with Westchester Henderson with the 1-2 punch of Ian Gottsfield and Greg Williams, and then not far behind their third runner, Jim Alexander. They are a very talented team, and would maybe that, but also Cedar Cliff ran so well in the District 3 meet last week. It should be a great battle for the team championship in this one, as well as the individual championship. You see them going down the straightaway here as the leaders sort of identify themselves early on in the race. And here comes the pack, and that's what it is. We're not quite to a half-mile mark yet, so with that in mind, there's still a lot of running yet to go, and so everyone's still together in this one. More so than the other races, you'll see this pack stick together, particularly through the first mile, before it starts to make its separation. The hill will take its toll on some of the runners, and again, I hate to belabor the point, but the humidity up a little bit, unusual November weather, to say the least, record highs setting in central Pennsylvania, so this will play a role in this race today, there is no doubt. Very important, though, it's somewhere that you get comfortable in that group, because there's a lot of runners, a lot of elbows, a lot of legs flying, and the thing that you can't afford to do is get tangled up and go down. So the runners trying to maintain a position. The course is marked by the 2 white lines. They need to stay between those 2 white lines as they come up. The first major upgrade in this course at Hershey, there are 2 major ones. This one at the half-mile mark, and then you got another one at about the 2-mile mark, right before the 2-mile, as the runners make their way here early on, and you see just a whole host of runners making their way through here. As you'll notice Craig Miller with the to the left, white shirt with a blue stripe and the shaved head. He is, again, as we mentioned, one of the favorites in this race. As a freshman last year, the PIAA state meet ran one of the fastest mile in the nation as a freshman. So you want to look out for him. Of course, Gottsfield, Fitzgerald, and James O'Toole, Jim Alexander, Greg Williams, all thought to, and all in the race here for that individual championship. I'm going to say it again, it really doesn't matter who leads going up the hill. It's a matter who crosses that finish line first. A good 2.5 miles away from this point, and a lot of running yet to do here in the race. Here's the map. You see them come from the start, that 800 meters, and they make the right turn up the hill to the 1-mile mark, and you're going to see them coming down the 1-mile mark at this point in time. Leading the way is Phil May of Sutherland. He is the leader at the 1-mile mark at 5:06. You see him out there in front. In second place, also 5:06, James O'Toole of Mount Lebanon. In third place, Ian Fitzgerald of North Hills, and he's hanging on there in third. In fifth place, you see Craig Miller of Manheim Township, who we talked about at that point. And just a host of runners now as they just come across quickly. We mentioned Gottsfield being one of the leaders. He's back at 43rd here as he crosses the mile in a 5:15 mark. And also Greg Williams at the 15th position here as he crosses the 1-mile mark. Not a lot of separation with that lead group as they just have traveled 1,600 meters into the race. Let's take a look at team standings. We mentioned they're wearing chips in their shoes. That will not only gives them the results at the finish line, and which it will, the time and place, but as they go across the 1-mile marker and the 2-mile marker, it will mark their times, their split times, and also calculate a team score at the 1- and 2-mile mark. Here in the 1-mile mark, Cedar Cliff has the early lead in this one, and back in second place is North Hills. Mount Lebanon is in third place. Cumberland Valley is back in fourth place. Just the top 4 teams at that point. So anybody's race 1 mile into it, but you see the lead leaders at this point. We're going to go right to the 2-mile mark, coming the uphill before the 2-mile mark. There's the group of 4 way out in front, and they've taken a little bit of a lead here, moving up this upgrade, and they're going to try to put some distance on the rest of the pack as they go up the hill. We mentioned this is the second upgrade, and after this upgrade, they turn to the right and run a flat for about maybe 20 yards. Then they'll take a right turn and they'll come downhill to the 2-mile marker. And at the 2-mile marker, people will start making their moves, no doubt, trying to make a separation here for the stretch run here on this Hershey course. That final stretch, and you'll see it at the end, is about 500 meters, a lot longer than you think, and deceiving to some of the runners. You turn that corner, you think you're almost home, and then you realize you just keep going, you keep going, and you keep going to the finish line. Up the hill they go, the runners here in the AAA boys, the final race of the day, as the team championship in doubt here after just the 1 mile and heading to the 2 mile, and the individual championship, anybody's race at this point in time. We're going to catch a glimpse here as you see them coming out of that pine trees there, and they're going to start coming down the hill, start making their move at the 2 mile mark. We'll see if we can catch your immediate leaders here at 2 mile mark. And leading the way is Ian Godsfield of Westchester Henderson, and his teammate Greg Williams, who is in second place also from Westchester Henderson. Godsfield, we mentioned 43rd at the mile mark, 8 seconds behind the pace, has moved up here in the 2nd mile. His strategy was, it's hot, I'm going to wait before I go. It's a little too hot to go out hard today. And Williams was back at 15th place at the mile. He has moved up. Craig Miller and Ian Fitzgerald along with them in that lead group they come across the 2nd mile. By the way, Godsfield's time in the 2nd mile was 10:07, as well as Williams coming in at 10:08. Miller comes in there in 3rd place at 10:08, and 4th place was Fitzgerald at 10:09. So still a lead pack that is anybody's race in this one. Let's check the team standings. Remember, Cedar Cliff had the lead after mile number 1. They maintained the team lead at the 2 mile mark, but Westchester Henderson is not on the radar in the top 4 after mile number 1. They have slowly moved up into the 2nd place position as they will try to make a move on Cedar Cliff. North Hills went from 2 to 3, and Council Rock will take the 4th position now. They too were behind, not in the top 4, have moved up here as they come across the mile 2 mark. By the way, 262 runners entered in this race, 97 schools represented, 22 teams in competition for the championship here. The AAA boys are really for boys schools with 325 or more boys in grades 9, 10, or 11. This is the big classification in the PIAA cross country. So the race with the 262 runners, not all this start will make it, as we've mentioned before in the previous races, due to the unseasonable temperature. Some have had to drop out because of heat exhaustion or dehydration in this race, and in all the races that took place. So the race for the team championship in the individual continues, and I'd like to remind you that you're watching the PIAA championships in cross country, as you can watch all the PIAA championships right here on PTN. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope that you enjoy watching the championships all season long. If you do, we'd like for you to give you a call, for you to give us a call at 717-730-6004. Your support for the championships will mean that they will continue on your local cable company. Here you see the 2 leaders at this time as they come down off the 2 mile, and Godsfield and Williams right now looking real good as they come down the hill off the 2 mile mark. They're out there in the stretch. If you probably look over from here, you would see the finish line, but a long way to go from the finish line. Williams, here they come down the stretch. It is those 2 runners with Miller following in pursuit. Williams last year faded in the end. He was in the top group and struggled across the line to finish in 50th place, but because he did that, his team won a championship. He's trying to hang on here for that 2nd place finish. It was thought early on the season these 2 could finish 1-2 in the state championship. Craig Miller trying to make his mark as the sophomore running behind. You see Godsfield, Fitzgerald, and Miller right now, the lead 3. Here comes Miller. I've seen him run a couple times, and he loves to finish hard coming down the stretch. He has passed Williams at this point in time, is trying to track down Godsfield. Godsfield number 2 last year in this race. Miller was number 5. Godsfield was 4th the year before, by the way, and so he's trying to hang on. Here comes Miller, going to make the move and pass Ian at about 20 meters out, and going to come across the line, still looking strong as he approaches the finish tape here. The sophomore from Manheim Township, will win the state championship after finishing second last week in the District 3 championship. 15:50 is the official time for sophomore Craig Miller, and Ian Gottsville will hang on for second place. 15:59 is his time. Again, Williams has really, you see him back there a little bit, has faded once again. This is Ian Fitzgerald from North Hills. Third last year, third this year. Jeff Wise will finish in the fourth position. He was 13th last year from McGuffey. Coming in fifth and sixth, Ken King of Connellsville. James O'Toole from Mount Lebanon. Josh Eddy from North Hills will finish in the seventh position. Again, let's keep our eyes on Williams. He's trying to cross here. Last year, this is where he went down and just struggled to get across. He's going to make it this year, finishing in the 15th position. Edie, we mentioned, in seventh. John Greers in eighth place from Upper Marion. Buddy Davis from Council Rock in ninth. Jim Alexander from Westchester Henderson, which will give them a leg up here. They have two runners in the top 10. Will finish in the 10th position. Derek Jennings in 11th place from Solanco. Mac Denish from Red Lion in 12th place. Mike McKinney in 13th place. He is from Hatboro Horsham. Bruce Verdusky from Fort LaBeouf in 14th. Greg Williams, as we mentioned, in 15th place. He'll be the third runner to come across from Westchester Henderson. Amin Garnett from Coatesville in 16th. Travis Bailey from Red Lion in 17th. John Fuganiti from Cumberland Valley in 18th place. Dan Gibson in 19th. He's from Carlisle. Matt Lawson in 20th from Upper Dublin. Council Rock's John Mahoney in 21st. Tim Johnson from Cedar Cliff at 22. Matt Rutsky from Fox Chapel in 23rd. Curtis Bixler from Cumberland Valley in 24th. And Phil May, the leader at the mile mark from Sutherland, he's in 25th place, rounding out the middle. Let's check the team standings here in this one. And it was, as we expected, Westchester Henderson, a great run in the final mile, overtaking everybody to win the team championship, finishing with 135 points. That'll make it two straight for Westchester Henderson, and second in the year 2001. So again, they come back strong here. Top three runners are seniors, and they gather their second state championship. North Hills will move up to finish in second place, led by Fitzgerald's third place finish. Hatboro Horsham comes into third place, and Cedar Cliff will round out the top four, finishing in that number fourth position. Interesting about Cedar Cliff, they will have everybody returning except for their fifth runner from their team will return in next year's race. Council Rock in fifth place, Coatesville at sixth, Mount Lebanon in seventh, Cumberland Valley finishes in eighth place, Carlisle in ninth. General McLean is the 10th place team finisher in that. So once again, Westchester Henderson, North Hills will pick up the championship trophies. Henderson out of District 1, the district championship, and North Hills the district champion out of District 7 as they win the championship here. But it is Craig Miller coming from down the stretch, fifth at the 1 mile mark, third at the 2 mile mark, third coming down the final 200 meters, and then overtaking both Gottsville and Williams from Westchester Henderson to win the state championship as a sophomore here, as he averages 5:06 minutes per mile over this 5,000 meter course to pick up the championship. Gottsville with his second in a row, second place finishing, but again, once again, leading his team to the overall state championship here in the race. The fourth race we mentioned, just a little bit hotter than the other three races that went off, and they did, again, another runner going down out on the stretch, coming across. A few runners in all four races were taken to the hospital. Everybody reported fine after they were seen at the hospital. We did have some runners also, a lot of business in the medic tents, but everybody came out okay after that, just suffering from the extreme heat, what we'll say in this one. Obviously, up near 70 degrees and not expected to be 70 degrees has taken its toll in this one. Craig Miller, the winner in 15:50. Ian Gottsville in second place in 15:59. Ian Fitzgerald in third in 16:10. Jeff Weiss in fourth. Ken King, James O'Toole, Josh Eddy, John Grice, Buddy Davis, and Jim Alexander rounding out the top 10. And the team winner, Westchester Henderson, boys AAA PIAA Championships. Let's go to the awards ceremony for the AAA boys.
This time we would like to introduce the boys AAA runner-up from North Hills, Coach John Wilkie. Coach, we'd like to have you present the awards to the following team members. Ian Fitzgerald. Josh Eddy. Mike Haley. Dan Tallarico. Pat Belicki. Ian Schreckengast. Brennan O'Hare. Adam Senchak. And Joe O'Malley. The runner-up trophy goes to the team from North Hills. Congratulations, boys AAA runner-up. Next, we'd like to introduce the boys AAA champions. For the boys from Henderson, please assemble at the bottom of the steps. Along with Coach Kevin Kelly.
Well, I did go back to work for 7 weeks or so.
Assistant coaches Peter Morse.
I knew why I retired.
We went back 2 days.
May we have the boys from Henderson up here on the stage.
They need a special invitation. Not nice. Should I ask one of them?
Coach Kevin Kelly will be presenting the medals to the team members. Ian Gottesfeld. Jim Alexander. Craig Williams. Chris Ferry. Tom Espedal. Mike Horn. Joe Coaches. And Rari Raj, the boys AAA champion from Henderson. Now we'd like to present the championship trophy to Henderson High School. Congratulations, AAA boys team champion.
Yeah, where are we though?
What?
25 with who? This guy here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
You want that on the board?
No, that's all right.
Why don't you put it on the board?
I got it. 25th is May from Souderton and Curtis Bixler from Cumberland Valley. Okay, so I'll get these guys out here.
Next we would like to have the medalists, first 25 place winners, assemble at the bottom of the steps, AAA boys. In 25th place, Phil Mai from Souderton. In 24th place, Curtis Bixler from Cumberland Valley. In 23rd place, Matt Rudsky from Fox Chapel. 22nd place, Tim Johnson from Cedar Cliff. 21st place, John Mahoney from Council Rock. 20th place, Matt Lawson from Upper Dublin. 19th place, Dan Gibson from Carlisle. 18th place, John Fulginetti from Cumberland Valley. 17th place, Travis Bailey from Redline. In 16th place, Hyman Garnett from Coatesville. 15th place, Greg Williams from Westchester Henderson. 14th place, Bruce Hordusky from Fort LaBeouf. In 13th place, Mike Kenny from Hatboro Horsham. In 12th place, Matt Denish from Red Lion. In 11th place, Derek Jennings from Solanco. In 10th place, Jim Alexander from Westchester Henderson. In 9th place, Buddy Davis from Council Rock. 8th place, John Grease from Upper Marion. 7th place, Josh Eddy from North Hills. 6th place, James O'Toole, Mount Lebanon. 5th place, Ken King, Connellsville. 4th place, Jeff Weiss from McGuffey. 3rd place, Ian Fitzgerald from North Hills. In 2nd place, Ian Gottesfeld from Westchester Henderson. And our AAA champion, running a course in 1550, a blue streak from Manheim Township, Craig Miller. Thank you to our medal winners, AAA Boys Division. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you to all. Have a safe trip home.
Craig Miller is a sophomore at Manheim Township. What was your strategy today?
My strategy was to stay behind him for most of the race and try to outkick him at the end, and that's what I did, so it worked.
Was there anything particular you did in training this year? You were 5th before, and this time you're obviously the winner. Was there anything you did to bump up your training?
I guess I trained a little bit more over the summer and just got, I guess, bigger and stronger from last year. So, yeah.
You have a twin brother who also runs. Do you guys run together a lot?
Actually, we never ran together over the summer before, but practice we do. He was sick like this past week, so he didn't run too well.
How long have you been running?
I guess since 9th grade last year, so a year.
What attracted you to the sport of cross country?
What was that?
What attracted you to cross country?
I guess just I ran like when I was little and like at school and stuff. I was faster than everybody else, so I just joined the cross country.
Any plans for track?
I guess to win like the state championship, but that's a long way away, so you never know what could happen.
Are you gonna be training over the winter?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I'll take some time off though. So.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Be a part of the action. PIAA is actively seeking individuals to become PIAA registered officials. PIAA presently registers officials in 12 different sports and sponsors 60 championships for its 1,384 member schools. With over 250,000 students participating in athletics annually, the need for qualified individuals to officiate these programs is vital. The PIAA has over 12,000 registered officials, one of the largest officials groups in the National Federation of State High School Associations. However, with the growth of middle school programs, PIAA is facing statewide shortages of officials in soccer, swimming and diving, field hockey, and track and field. Any individual who is a high school graduate or 18 years of age or older is encouraged to get involved. For more information, check out the PIAA website at www.piaa.org or call the PIAA office at 1-800-382-1392.
PCN Tours, Pennsylvania Cable Network's series of video visits to manufacturing plants, is now available in book form. To order the book, send a check for $26 payable to the Pennsylvania Cable Network, 401 Fallowfield Road, Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, 17011. Visa and MasterCard may also be used for PCN Tours book purchases by calling the network toll-free at 1-866-PCN-8433. Prices include shipping and state sales tax.
December is a championship month on the Pennsylvania Cable Network, state leader in scholastic sports programming. Don't miss PCN's exclusive coverage of all 4 state football finals. The best of the East battle the best of the West on PCN as Pennsylvania's top teams compete for state gold. It's a gridiron lover's dream on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. All football finals air on PCN without commercial interruption. When you're looking for high school state champions, turn to PCN, Pennsylvania's championship network.
And now, PCN's exclusive coverage of PIAA Championship Cross Country on PCN, Pennsylvania's championship network.
Welcome to PCN's coverage of the PIAA State Cross Country Championships at Milton Hershey High School in Hershey, Pennsylvania. There'll be 4 races today, girls and boys AA and girls and boys AAA. More than 1,000 runners will be competing in today's events. Many have been here since early this morning, setting up tents for their teams and also warming up on this 5,000-meter course. The course is laid out the same as last year. The runners will start on the airstrip and hit their first hill at the half-mile mark. Then they will loop around the ball field and reach the 1-mile mark just as they pass Senior Hall on their left. Then they will have a big downhill into the 2-mile mark and then return back to the airstrip for their last straightaway. It's a beautiful day in Hershey. Temperatures in the high 60s, maybe a little too warm for the runners. We'll see in the next few minutes how they will fare on this mild day. This is the girls AAA race, PIAA State Championship run here from Hershey. Second race of the day. 60 degrees, the temperature at the start of the race. The humidity level still at about 83%, which will play a little bit on the discomfort for the runners. Not as nice as it should be, perhaps for November. Certainly not the weather in November, but the girls will contend with this one. AAA girls, this is for schools with over 315 or more girls in grades 9, 10, 11 as of the 1st of October back in 2001. In this race, 260 girls entered, 100 schools representative, 22 teams will be going after the state championship here for girls AAA. Unlike the other three races, the boys AA and AAA and the girls AA, this race does have a favorite, both as the individual and both as a team. Frances Coons comes in as the individual favorite, finishing third last year, but this year just running up there with some of the best in the nation, as a matter of fact. So we look for Frances Coons to be up in front. Now, there's other runners that can make an impact, obviously. Kate Thader from Unionville, Janelle Young, Liz Cairns, Kate Poppenberg, Marissa Umbell, they all will be in contention, but all eyes are on Coons in this one. She's in the green shorts and yellow jersey, taking the lead right now from the start. That's her trademark, as she normally does from start to finish. She goes out. As we mentioned in the individual race, the team championship, there is a odds-on favorite here. Hatboro Hersham, ranked nationally, coming into this race, looks to be the favorite, led by two freshmen in this one. And it just looks to be like the team to beat, looking for their second in a row. You would have thought after last year losing two seniors in their top 7, their top runner, that it might be a rebuilding year, but the freshmen have come in and they are in contention to win this state championship here. If they don't run as well as normal, look for some teams from Chambersburg, Parkland, North Allegheny to be in contention for this one. But again, Hatboro Hersham is the one we're looking at, along with Frances Coons from Allentown Central Catholic. Won every race this year but one, finishing second at the Spike Shoe up in State College earlier in the year, but really has been running well throughout the season and expect to continue her running career even after the PIAA state meet. Here we come around. They have gone about 800 meters as they start up the very first hill, the first incline, and there is Coons separating herself obviously from the pack early on in the race as she goes from broke from the beginning, and then you see the pack still hanging together at the 800-meter mark. This is one of two hills that the runners will have to navigate in this course. Substantial hills, we should say. There are some upgrades and a little ups and downs, but this one will play a role, as will the second one you'll see a little bit later on in the race. So Coons just out there all by herself, looking like she's running effortlessly as she comes up hill number 1 here at the Hershey course in this one. And she'll go after this individual championship, finishing third here last year, 22nd as a sophomore back in the hundreds when she was just a freshman out of Allentown Central Catholic. 25 of these runners will receive medals from the PIAA, the top 25 finishers, and then 2 teams will also receive trophies and medals. The top 2 teams will receive each individual a medal, and the team will receive a trophy to represent their accomplishments here today from Hershey. Here comes the rest of the pack. As you see, Coons' lead is substantial already, and the rest of the pack, anybody can race out there for second place at this point in time as they come up the first hill here at Hershey. 4 races, as we mentioned, this one starting under overcast skies. The first race, the girls AA, has some overcast skies, and this one also too, but it does appear that the sun's trying to break out and make this weather conditions a little bit worse than it is right now by making it just a little bit hotter with the sun. We'll see what happens with this one and how this one fares out for the runners here in this race. As you see the rest of the runners coming through the 800 mark here of the race, we're going to head to the mile mark as you're going to catch a glimpse of the map of the course here from what's called White Field and Senior Hall. Also the airstrip there. They come up around the practice field, head to the 1 mile mark. Guess who's in the lead? Frances Coon is coming here. Then the pack, Lavretta Zube from Freedom in the black and white. And then take a look at, as you watch again, this is just Frances all alone, and then you're going to see the rest of the crowd coming. What a big lead already at mile number 1. Matter of fact, Coons goes through the mile at 5:42, and the next runner is 14 seconds back in Kate Pappenberg from Redline. She is at 5:56, and a host of runners coming through. Umbell at 5:56, Duzube, as we mentioned, in the black and white. Pappenberg wearing the red or the black and gold, Umbell in the black and white Thader from Unionville in the blue and the yellow, and now here comes the rest of the crew. They are crossing a mat at the mile mark. We are able to give you mile splits because of that. They're crossing a mat. They have chips in their shoes for the finish line. That's how they determine place and time, but also those chips will record time and place at the 1 mile and the 2 mile mark, and because of that, we're able to calculate and give you scores. Team standings just after 1 mile in the race. Hatboro Horsham, as one would thought, in the lead here early on in first place. Allentown Central Catholic behind Coons' front running is in second place. North Penn coming in at third place at the mile mark. Chambersburg team standing at number 4 here after 1 mile run in the girls' AAA race. And a long way to go in this one as we have 2.1 miles to go after crossing this place. And we'll see the map again. In 1 mile, they're going to head for the Hershey Rose Gardens. Right around that baseball field you see there will be hill number 2. And here we come to the second mile as Francis is well out in front of the group. And we're just waiting and waiting. And here comes the second place runners at this point in time. They're going to climb this hill, take a right turn for about 50 yards maybe even a little less than that on flat, and then come downhill to the 2 mile mark. Coonsville is leading the way. That's it's a surprise to no one. And then we'll watch to see who the second and third, fourth runners are as they approach the mile number 2. There is a second group. Normally, as is the case, you have a lead pack and then a second pack. Here, the lead pack is way out in front and is a runner of 1, and then a few runners in what will be the lead pack, and then the rest of the runners coming here in a pack, trying to make their mark as they go. Now getting over the tough part as they go up this hill, mark number 2, and then they will start the downhill descension. And after that, it's relatively flat for them, a few little rolls up and down, and then a little downhill before the final stretch run. I'm going to remind you once again, that final stretch run, you'll see it. A long 500 meters to go. Turn the corner and you think you're done, but you're not. A long stretch to go for them. Runners now using tactics going up the hill. They're going to change and use their downhill tactics. Some will make vast improvements going uphill. Some will use the advantage of the downhill to get in position to where they want to be. Coming down by herself, you see Frances Kuhn. Nobody around, letting it go downhill. The arms going out for balance there a little bit. But she's really a smooth runner. Uses the body well in form, and certainly has built a big lead. One that you would not expect at the PIAA State Championships, but one not unexpected in the other regards, coming from Frances Kuhn of Allentown Central Catholic. Going to pass the 2 mile mark all by herself in 11:32. The next runner is 18 seconds behind the 2 mile mark. Actually, it's going to be, yes, about 18 seconds behind at the 2 mile mark. And that is going to be Marissa Umbell from Indiana. And in second place. Third place at the 2 mile mark, Kate Pappenberg of Red Line coming in at 11:56. And also Kate Thader of Unionville at the same time. And rounding out the top 5 is Kylie Schuler of Chambersburg in here for the at the 2 mile mark as they come across the map, and we get an idea where everybody is situated at this point in time. 2 mile mark standings team-wise. Let's take a look at that right now. Hatboro Horsham still in that number 1 position as they go for 2 in a row here, as they take the lead, have maintained the lead from not only the first mile, but here at the second mile. Allentown Central Catholic has faded. North Penn has moved up into second place now. North Allegheny has moved into third place. And North Penn was at third. Now they're at second. North Allegheny is in third. Chambersburg, 4th at the 1 mile mark, maintains the 4th place right now at the 2 mile mark, as most of the runners are crossing us here for the at 2 miles. As Francis led, well, you saw it from the beginning, and a substantial lead at the 2 mile. It would take a total collapse for her to give up this championship that she has been wanting here in the PIAA. Last year taking third, and just trying to pull up the number 1 position here. Really taking a leap from last year in her running. Not that she was certainly finishing third, but she has stepped it up a notch, and she just credits that to the constant training. She feels more aware of where she's at in her training, and is training a little bit better here in her senior year. Certainly the results are showing that for her, as she was the favorite coming in, is the favorite way past the 2 mile mark. Mind you, once again, you're watching the PIAA Cross Country Championships right here on PCN, and we appreciate you taking the time to watch these high school athletes and put forth the effort that they're doing. And if you enjoy high school championship events on PCN, please let us know either through email at pcntv@pcntv.com or at our viewer fan line 717-730-6004. Website is pcn.tv.com. And speaking of website, if you'd like to a complete list of the finals and of the results, check out the PIAA's website, PIAA.org, and you can get a copy of all 4 races. The final results are posted on that website, keep you up to date and find out where your favorite team and runners have come in here in the AAA girls race, AA girls race, and AAA boys championship races. You're seeing the vast majority of the 260 girls in this race passing the 2-mile mark, as we will soon head to the finish line and gather up and see what Frances Coons is exactly doing. Can Marissa Umbell hold on to second place, as she was second coming through the 2-mile marker there, as Coons led from the start. You saw her in the beginning, less than probably 100 meters out, take over the lead. And in most cases, if you go back and look, that's not necessarily the person who wins the race. But in this situation, it certainly looks strong for Coons. Coons on the little downhill part after the 2-mile. She has the lead, no one around her. If we pan her straight across, you'd probably see the finish line. But she has to go up, and it's probably about a good half mile at least to the finish line after this point in the running, as she's just getting a lot of encouragement, and rightly so, from all the spectators lining the course here at Hershey. Great crowd turned out for the races today, and I don't think the weather really had a whole lot to do with it. They always turn out to watch the races. And here is the final stretch run. That red flag means there's 200 meters to go, and they make the left turn and come down, or excuse me, 500 meters to go, and Coons has the lead. Right behind her is Umbell, and it appears to be Liz Kearns from CB West in 3rd place coming down there. 4th and 5th place, Kate Pappenberg and Katie Thader rounding out the top 5, and really have separated themselves from the rest of the race here, as they are going to finish in that top 5 position. The question would be, can Coons hold on to this lead? Does anybody have anything to come down the stretch and make it a race, coming down the final little bit of runs here for this race? Again, team championship, Hatboro Horsham in 1st place after the 2-mile mark. They led from the beginning too as the team, and Coons has led from the beginning of this one. Here comes the group, all making the turn, coming down the final stretch. Coons starting to pick up the pace a little bit here, as you see the finish line judge right in front of us, so that means the finish line's not far away for her. Doesn't appear that anybody will catch Frances Coons here, the senior from Allentown Central Catholic, as she will go away not only with the District 11 championship this year and a whole bunch of other races and invitational, but she will capture the individual crown in the PIAA AAA girls race. Fastest girls time of the day, no doubt, if she gets across the line here in the next couple of seconds. Look, an outstanding 5,000 meter time for Frances Coon on this hot, warm day at Hershey. There you see it, 8:37 is what's recorded as the official time. The clock above at 8:36. This is Marissa Umbell, a junior from Indiana. She'll finish 2nd in 18:46. Nice run for her coming down the stretch. Liz Kearns finishing from CB West in 3rd place. Umbell made up some time on Coons down the final mile, but not enough. Pappenberg in 4th place, 18:58. Katie Thader in 5th place in a time of 19:05. Erin Zellers of Redline will finish in 19:11. She is also a junior, 17th her freshman year, 18th her senior year, and now 6th here, or excuse me, her junior year, sophomore year, sorry, and then 6th here in her junior year. Sarah Morrison from Chambersburg, just a freshman, finishing in 3rd place. Kieran's the 3rd place finisher, also a freshman. Julie Kizowick in 8th place from Garnet Valley. Katie Vaughn in 9th place from Bethel Park. And Lorita Dzube, the 1,600 meter champ from in track this past year, played field hockey until this year, from Freedom. She is a junior. She finishes in the top 10. Rounding out the top 25, Amy Ruffalo In 11th, 12th place, Carrie Swain. 13th, Jessica Wolf. Bernisa Edwards in 14th place. Kylie Schuler in 15th place. Aaron Schesling in 16th. Annie Wilson in 17th. Amanda Gordyshevsky in 18th place. Marie Lamparter in 19th place. Marie Monks in 20th. Samantha Howard, 21st. Alexa Gass in 22nd, Brittany Sullivan in 23rd, Janelle Young in 24th, and Christy Raymer in 25th place. Let's check out the team standings. To no one's surprise, as the individual champion was no surprise, neither is the winner. Hatboro Horsham will finish in first place with a team score of 76 points, second in a row, as the nationally ranked team picks up the PIAA State Championship to add to their impressive season as they've had this year. Lost their top runner from last year, but coming back, led by two freshmen, Carrie Swain and Brittany Sullivan, and then a sophomore is their third runner, Teresa Gold, and then a sophomore is their fourth runner, Jen O'Neill, a senior, their fifth runner, and Anna Baker. Caitlin Glass is their sixth runner. She is a sophomore. Nicole Murphy rounds out their scoring with an excellent opportunity to come back and make it 3 in a row. Chambersburg scoots up into the second place position as they finish with 160 points. Parkland just 6 points behind with 166 as they come in and make their move in the final mile to pick up the third place position. North Allegheny in fourth at 177, rounding out the top 10. North Penn in fifth, Allentown in sixth, Unionville in seventh, Haverford in 8th, Westchester Henderson in 9th, and Oakland Catholic is the 10th place finisher here for the girls in the AAA race. Frances Coons, the winner, a 6-minute mile pace through that race for Allentown Central Catholic to win the race in 18:37. Rather quick time on this course here at Hershey. Third year they've used this course. And third time it's been here at Hershey. Second time they've used this specific course. Here you see the mats that the runners have to get across. And you see now, as we talked about the heat being a problem, another runner going down near the finish line, yet other runners out farther away from the finish line. So this runner will try to get across, and once she crosses the finish line, she is official. The officials will take care of making sure that she is recorded in the right place. There is a backup system, a Lynx operating system that is able to help double check the system with the chips, and they'll make sure that she gets in the appropriate place. They cross that mat, and their times are recorded, and their places also are recorded. So not 260 girls finishing in this race, as 260 started out to try to finish in it, and again, the heat taking its toll today. 257 will be credited with finishing in the race, led by start to finish Frances Coons, Marissa Umbel then second, Liz Cairns, just a freshman, will finish in third place. Kate Pappenberg, Katie Fader in fifth, Erin Sellers in sixth, Sarah Morrison finishes in seventh place here. And we'll try Julie's name once again. Koreski was, I know that's not even close. Julie, I apologize, from Garnet Valley. She finishes in 8th place. I got another chance. She's a junior. She'll be back next year to do it. Katie Vaughn in 9th place, and Dzube is finishing in 10th place. Nice transition from field hockey to cross country this year, as she finishes in the top 10 in her first attempt at this race. And again, the team winner, Hatboro Horsham, followed by Chambersburg, Parkland, and North Allegheny here in the girls AAA race for the PIAA State Championship run here on PCN. And thank you for checking out. You're seeing the finishes coming down. You still see a lot of runners out there, way out there, coming down that final 200-meter stretch here. As just a great effort from everybody involved in the races here, from the officials to the runners, and congratulations to the coaches of all the teams. Long season starting back in, the training starts in August for some officially, but for others it starts way back as soon as school lets out in June. The miles are put in over extreme heat. Then they go into a cool session with August and September and October, and then when you think the weather's going to be just perfect, it turns out to be hot again. But a long cross-country season comes to an end here for these runners as they make their way across the finish line here at Hershey and the PIAA State Championships for AAA girls. One of 4 races here in the race, as you see the final group of runners coming across, getting a chance to see all 257 finishers in this race here for the girls. Frances Coons, the winner from Allentown Central Catholic, and Hatboro Hersham is the winner for the championship for the team. They'll collect the team trophy for the second year in a row. Let's go now and see the runners get their awards and the teams get their trophies at the awards ceremony here at Hershey.
We would like to have the runner-up AAA girls from Chambersburg up here on the stage with their coach, Chris Monheim.
Do you have the individual AAA girls ready?
To introduce the team from Chambersburg, Kylie Schulter. Sarah Morrison.
AAA boys was on the team sheet.
Brooke
AAA boys,
Jacobs.
only 2 pages. Where's the second page? Yeah, you did. Has to be.
Sarah Osterman.
No, because Mark just stuck them all in the copy machine around.
Jen Wetzel. Samantha Jones. Regina Heiser. Tara Kelly. Allie Van Horn. And Ashley Jacoby.
When I handed you that whole pile, everything was in the front.
Now the presentation of the runner-up award for the team competition, AAA girls. Congratulations to the team from Chambersburg, our AAA runners-up.
This is page 3. We need page 2 of AAA girls.
Okay, what do we need there? Girls, right? AAA girls.
Next, we want the team from Hatboro Horsham. Coach Jen Piskey and Craig Kipe. Team members on the championship team are Kelly Swain, Carrie Swain, Brittany Sullivan, Teresa Gould, Jen O'Neill, Anna Baker, Caitlin Claus, Nicole Murphy, Megan Ryder, next, we would like to present the championship trophy, AAA girls, to the team from Hatboro Horsham. Congratulations to our 2003 champions. Next, can we have the 25 first place finishers for the AAA girls assemble at the steps at the front of the stage, along with their coaches.
25 winners.
All coaches and medal winners to the bottom of the steps at the front of the stage.
Hey, Lehigh Valley, Lanta wants you to express yourself. The new Silver Line Express connects the downtowns of Easton and Allentown with only 3 stops at popular shopping malls. Whether for work, shopping, or leisure activities, the new Silver Line Express will get you across the valley quickly.
We're going to take the bus to the mall.
Which mall?
All of them!
I took the Silver Line to take the kids to the Crayola Crayon Factory.
Call Lanta for a map and schedule and fair information.
Remember when life was much simpler? It was easy to know who could be trusted to carpet your home.
Today, the choices are overwhelming. Make it simple. Make it Mohawk Color Center.
Celebrating 125 years of Mohawk commitment to floor covering quality, comfort, and style.
Mohawk Color Center, where the value of family and an appreciation for the simple beauty of home are woven into everything we do.
Mohawk Color Center. Simply the right way to go. Visit R&J Carpet Connection, 922 North 3rd Street in Whitehall.
Number 33, Jeff Hammer.
We are back at Northampton High School, and we're ready for more action with 8 minutes remaining in the first half. The Liberty has scored first tonight. Standing back for this boot is number 21, Devin Klein, and on the far side is Jeff Pammer. They'll stand at the Northampton 8, and Ian McCormick will boot this thing away from the Liberty 40. Beautiful pictures tonight. Outstanding coverage again. Here's the boot. Pammer's going to take it at the 12, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 38-yard line. Finally caught from behind. Outstanding return by Jeff Pammer.
Hammer doing a job on special teams today. Nice wedge opened up right up the middle. A little slow in developing, but he shows good patience there, waiting for it. Even though the kickoff went way off to the right, came back, got in his spot, found his lane, and nice run.
Billy Haight is wide to the far sideline, along with Ed Crow. Opplinger will come to the near sideline. Here is Mushko, dumping it to Pammer. 40, 45, sidestep somebody. 50, 45, looking for the block. 40, 35, 30, 25-yard line. Tony Davis knocks him out of bounds to save the touchdown.
How about the job by Craig Mushko to get rid of the football there? Looked like a hurricane was coming right at him, forcing him out of the pocket, and he does a nice job getting rid of that soft pass. We talked about this in the open. The ability to throw that little soft pass, especially against pressure, and his ability to do that makes a big pickup. And a great block. Let's give credit to Josh Opplinger upfield, who did a great job blocking and also did not hold on at the end of that play.
First down and 10 for Northampton. Handoff to Opplinger, and he'll get to the 25 to the 23-yard line. Pickup of about 5. Let's make it second down and 5.
Yeah, John deserves a carry after that. That was a great block upfield. Got him at probably about 10 yards. And also did a nice job of, once that block broke down, didn't try to hold on or do a little bit too much and draw the flag.
Outstanding game. Had an opportunity to talk to Mike Schneider, the AD here at Northampton, for a while before the game tonight.